Ronnie O'Sullivan, snooker's most iconic figure, has been absent from competitive play since early January. His next appearance is not expected until the World Championship in April. Despite this hiatus, the Rocket remains the sport's most talked-about player, with retirement rumors swirling after a series of withdrawals and a dramatic incident involving his cue. In January, O'Sullivan made headlines during the Championship League when he snapped his cue in frustration. This was followed by his withdrawal from a planned Masters showdown with John Higgins. Since then, he has pulled out of several tournaments, including the Welsh Open and the World Grand Prix. These actions have fueled speculation about his future in the sport. However, reigning Masters champion Shaun Murphy believes O'Sullivan will not retire until he surpasses Stephen Hendry's record of 7 world titles. Both players are currently tied at 7 world championships, and Murphy thinks this milestone will keep O'Sullivan motivated. Murphy shared his thoughts on the Onefourseven Snooker Podcast, stating,
"I don't think so. I can't see it. Can you? I just... Right, here's the deal. I don't know Ronnie O'Sullivan particularly well. He doesn't know me well at all, and I don't know him either. You know, despite having been on the same tour for a long time, he turned pro in 92, I in 98. You know, we haven't spent much social time together ever. So I don't really know him, and as I say, he wouldn't know me either. So you never know what's going on in somebody's world and somebody's life, do you? And so I'm sort of reticent to get too into it. But
he continued,
I can't see whilst he's tied with Stephen Hendry on 7 world champs that he won't keep playing. I just can't see that. But as I well know, they don't hand world championships out just for turning up. Just because you're Ronnie O'Sullivan doesn't mean you're going to win another one. He has, of course, won 7, so he knows more about it than most. I don't think this is the end. I think he's actually doing what he said all along he would probably do, which is do it on his terms, play when he wants, and as and when he does want to walk away, he'll walk away on his own terms in the manner in which he decides.
Murphy also highlighted the significance of O'Sullivan's cue incident, stating,
"Let's not forget he smashed his cue up last time out, so that's a huge problem. You know, it's not like a golfer just going to the tour van and getting a new golf club. It's not like a tennis racket, a tennis player just getting a new tennis racket. You know, not having a cue that you're used to can be career-ending for many players."
Despite his belief that O'Sullivan will continue playing, Murphy expressed concerns about the promotional material for O'Sullivan's upcoming public appearance in Saudi Arabia. The event allows fans to watch O'Sullivan practice, but Murphy found the wording of the advertisement unsettling. He said, "I found the wording of that advert slightly concerning. Halfway down the poster, it said, 'Be close to Ronnie,' and I read that and thought I wasn't sure about it. It sounds a bit creepy to me. What are we selling here?" Meanwhile, Stephen Hendry, the Scots snooker legend, has weighed in on O'Sullivan's potential retirement. Hendry believes O'Sullivan will return to action at the World Grand Prix in Hong Kong in March. Speaking on his Snooker Club podcast, Hendry said, "He does like playing in China. He's loved over there, and I'd be shocked if he didn't play in Hong Kong. But I don't know what to think about what's going on, really. Obviously, smashing the cue has had an effect." Hendry added, "When he's working at Eurosport, I hear that he's still on the practice table. Part of me thinks he's just going to play in the World Championship. Is that the goal for this season? Is that the plan? I don't know. The event suffers a little, there's no doubt if he's not in it. It's slightly impacted by him not being in it. I think if it was in the UK, then he wouldn't play. But the fact it's in China, and the fact he has a couple of weeks in China and is then on to Hong Kong means I think he will." Hendry also speculated about O'Sullivan's current mindset, suggesting that the competitive drive may not be as strong as it once was. "I don't know whether it's just because it's the UK, but I've been saying it for a while. I think that the competitive sort of juices are maybe not what they were. He maybe prefers playing exhibitions, doing a bit of punditry, and having no expectations or pressure. Maybe he's just got to that stage in his life where he doesn't want to put the mental effort into playing comps." He concluded, "It's a strange one. It's a disappointing one for the fans and for me. I love watching him play. I'm hesitant to say it, but it would be a shame if we never see him play again in a major tournament. I don't know what his plans are." Joining Hendry on the podcast was world number 1, 33 Matthew Selt, who was less optimistic about O'Sullivan's return. Selt said, "I don't think you'll see him until the Crucible. I'll be amazed if he comes out before that. I don't see that he prioritizes the World Grand Prix or that series of events as highly as the Triple Crown events." Selt also emphasized the significance of O'Sullivan's cue incident, stating, "You have got to be in a particularly bad place to snap your cue at an event. The fact that he hasn't returned to playing since then, I think he'll want to get as sharp as he can with a new cue and then come back for the Worlds. That's if he does play at the Worlds. He clearly is struggling in being able to focus on playing, and it's such a shame to not have him at every event. Every event is bigger with him in it." He added, "You might not see him until the Worlds, and then there's a chance he might not even play at them. I think it will be a sad day for snooker. You have fans, snooker fans, and Ronnie fans. There aren't many who don't like watching him play, even if you're not a fan of his. It would be the end of an era." Hendry has also joked about wanting O'Sullivan to retire to preserve his own records. O'Sullivan recently surpassed Hendry's record of 775 career centuries, further cementing his legacy. Hendry told this in 2015 to BBC Radio 5 Live.
So it's there's a lot of snooker that I'm watching, being a commentator for the BBC, and it's not a great standard. And I'm thinking I should still be playing, but obviously it's easier said than done.
So we could be seeing a Stephen Hendry comeback at the Crucible.
At this point in time, sitting here, I would very much doubt it. But as I say, it's an option.
You're not ruling it out?
No.
He added,
"The back of his mind is 7 world titles. He obviously needs another 3 to break that, so that's going to, obviously he's going to have to play for at least another 3 years. So, I'm hoping he retires soon."
Would you like to hang on to that one at least?
I think that's the one. Yeah, that's the one that I'd really like to keep, because I think if Ronnie doesn't do it, I can't see anyone else doing it.
And the fact that he's 39.
Hendry retired from snooker in 2012 after being knocked out of the World Championship. He holds a record 36 ranking titles, while O'Sullivan has 27. Hendry believes O'Sullivan is currently in a league of his own, stating,
"Yeah, absolutely. I think as I said, I think there's only Ronnie out there that's playing to a standard that's he's very, very far above the players that are playing."
Last year, World Snooker Chairman Barry Hearn mentioned that Hendry was considering a return to competitive play after rule changes allowed former champions to enter the World Championship qualifying rounds. When asked about this possibility, Hendry said,
"Be a possibility for you?"
I'm still not decided about the World Championship. It's obviously there's an option there for me to play in it, but I'm only going to play if I think I can play well and do myself justice. So yeah, it would mean obviously going back to the practice table and sort of putting the effort in, and I don't know whether I'm ready to do that yet.
But does it appeal potentially? Because if you watch that, and I mean, do you watch the players who are playing now and think, well, I could beat him?
O'Sullivan's future remains uncertain, but his impact on snooker is undeniable. Whether he returns to competitive play or chooses to retire, his legacy as one of the sport's greatest players is secure. Fans and fellow players alike await his next move, hoping to see him back at the table. Charismatic and ever-ebullient professional Shaun Murphy is sending shockwaves through the sport as he readies himself for the World Championship, known equally for his accuracy on the table as his sharpness of strategic thought. And comments recently from the man himself have set tongues alight among fans and competitors alike. As he prepares to go toe-to-toe with the best in the sport's showpiece event of the snooker calendar, Murphy has fired a stark warning to his rivals, a declaration that he is a force to be reckoned with. Speaking candidly to Basketball Insiders recently, Murphy himself confessed to all that he was going through, from his transformation of a month ago to what mental and physical readjustments it had taken him so as to lift up his game to the new heights he wants for himself. "I work harder than ever," Murphy let out during that candid talk where humility rang in almost every part of his tone, coupled with steely determination. "This is a year of discovering more things within myself, how far beyond them I can really go." It has not been an easy ride for Murphy, known as the Magician for his uncanny ability to conjure brilliance from situations that would defeat other players. He has had his share of ups and downs. In recent years, he has struggled for consistency, leading to questions about whether he could still compete with the likes of Judd Trump, Ronnie O'Sullivan, and Mark Selby. But those doubts now seem a distant memory, as Murphy's recent performances have shown a player revitalized and ready to reclaim his place at the top. He now looked back on a journey that had brought him to this decisive moment, reflected on a fresh wave of intensive fitness and mental training. "I've always felt snooker was as much a mental game as physical," he said. "The table doesn't care about your reputation or your past glories. It's about who can handle the pressure at the moment. That's what I've been training for."
And with this red, it certainly should be. He's been the best player all week, Cal.
He has, and that's the important one. And Corin will reflect on a few missed chances. He put up a great fight. And there's a bit of emotion. We were waiting for it. The fist pump. What a wonderful championship. What a wonderful match we've been treated to tonight, John, in the final.
Thoroughly deserved.
93.
Best player all week. Come on, knock it in. And you get a standing ovation. Absolutely brilliant. Well played, Shaun Murphy. That's the way to get over the line. Wonderful century break. Kyron Wilson gives him his congratulations. We get the fist pump, and it's thoroughly deserved. He's been the best player all week. Magnificent. Maximum included this week. And what a way to get over the line. That was absolute quality from Shaun Murphy, the 2025 Masters champion. Well played. You were brilliant all week.
Recent performances have vindicated such claims, with Murphy in scintillating form of late, with many career-best performances reminding people of his skill and flair that won him the World Championship in 2005. His more attacking game, coupled with an improved safety game, has made him an opponent feared by his peers. Critics have noticed he now appears more composed and confident, which could prove vital in the high-stakes matches at the Crucible Theatre. But what perhaps was most striking of Murphy's resurgence was the poise with which he handled his setbacks and used them as fuel for self-improvement. He referred to one such disheartening loss that earlier this season finally put him at a juncture where something clicked. The defeat was so bitter to take in, it really put some things into perspective. What I did have to do. It was a wake-up call. Since then, he's been on a mission to silence his critics, to prove to himself that he still belongs among the sport's elite. Murphy's warning to his rivals is not just empty bravado. He's backed it up with hours of practice, fine-tuning every aspect of his game. His long potting, a hallmark of his playing style, has been particularly sharp in recent tournaments, and his tactical acumen has reached new heights. As he prepares to face the best players in the world, Murphy's confidence is infectious. "I know what I'm capable of," he said. "I'm not here to make up the numbers, I'm here to win." It's the ultimate test for any snooker player a marathon that requires great skill, stamina, and no small amount of mental toughness. For Murphy, it's the opportunity to add another chapter to his already storied career. "Walking out at the Crucible is always special," he said. "It's the dream of every snooker player to lift that trophy, and I'm no different. But this year feels different. I've never felt more ready." The more the big tournament approaches, the more buzz there is around Murphy. Fans have been having their say on social media in recent times, with many tipping him as a dark horse for the title. His fellow players have also acknowledged his resurgence, with some admitting they now see him as a serious threat. "Shaun's playing some incredible snooker right now," said one top player. "He's definitely someone to watch." Murphy's path to the World Championship is a testament to the power of resilience and self-belief. A story of a player who just refused to give up, even when it seemed the world was against him. He will go on to snooker's biggest stage with a renewed sense of purpose and warning to anyone underestimating him. "I'm ready to shock the world."
And in the end, he nearly caught me, he nearly got level. And you think about little twists and turns like that. That fourth frame was, yeah, as you say, it was huge, massive.
But, by the way, he played fantastic from start to finish. The whole tournament was a complete joy to watch.
Thank you.
You know, the cubal control, the maximum, everything. But you come in here your first match with Wilson, you was 4-0 up, played fantastic. And then it went 4-3. And you said in here, because we were talking about winning tournaments, you said you got under pressure. You thought you felt a bit under pressure. And then on your matches, especially in the final, you seemed to stay down even more on the shot. Was that a conscious thing to live what was going on?
Totally. It's very easy to get very easy to get distracted out there. It's very easy to start worrying about where the cue ball's going, what's happening over here. You know, I would be a bit of a tinkerer with my technique. I'd always be trying a different grip or a different action or a different bridge length or so. So to give myself something just to focus on doing that, and it has so many added benefits staying down till the ball's gone in. Yeah, I mean, it's the first week I've tried it, and it's worked.
Not bad. The great Steve Davis used to do that.
How much of a help has Peter been? Because obviously I've seen you on the practice table in York, and you're not just hitting balls, you play a shot and you'll chat and you'll kind of do stuff like, well, we all know what a great competitor Peter was, so, I mean...
I said in York that, you know, I thought I'd gone a bit soft. And that was, you know, that was through chats with Peter. You know, Peter was an
The stage is set. The stakes can't be any higher, and Shaun Murphy's ready to take center stage and make his move. Win or not, one thing is for sure. The magician is back, and he is dazzling.
And where's your mental health at the moment? Because a couple of years ago, you know, you were quite honest about how you were feeling. Where are you now?
Yeah, I'm okay at the moment. I'm seeming to manage it a little bit better at the moment. I was speaking to a doctor for about 6 months to a year. Dr. Lanka from London, actually, and he sort of told me how to sort of control it a little bit more. The way he explained it is though it's like losing a loved one, you know. He said you'll never get over it, but you sort of learn to deal with it a bit better. And before, the position I was in, it was all new to me, you know. I didn't know, it just hit me from nowhere. I mean, he said, I explained to him all the stuff I'd gone through in my past, and he said I'd been suffering for a while and not known, you know. I was waking up, I was just thinking like, people have...
In the high-stakes world of professional snooker, it's not just about what happens on the table. It's the mental battles behind the scenes that often go unseen. Ronnie O'Sullivan, a legend of the game, has recently spoken out about the intense pressure players face, revealing his own struggles with mental health. After pulling out of the Masters, O'Sullivan opened up about reaching his breaking point, even snapping his cue in a moment of raw frustration. His bold call for better support for players is shining a light on the unseen side of this demanding sport. O'Sullivan, a 7-time world champion and arguably the most talented and accomplished player to ever grace the sport, revealed that he had reached a low point just before the Masters. He admitted that his frustration had boiled over to the extent that he snapped his cue in a moment of intense emotion. His withdrawal from the tournament followed soon after, as O'Sullivan took a much-needed break from the game. In the wake of this, he called on the governing body of snooker, World Snooker, to do more to support players in terms of mental health. I believe World Snooker should have dedicated support, O'Sullivan said. In football, they have masseuses and professionals addressing injuries. I think snooker should have someone at tournaments whose job is to check in with players. His call for action was simple but impactful. Players need someone to talk to, someone to check in on their mental state during the demanding tournament schedule. O'Sullivan pointed out that many players suffer in silence, struggling with the immense pressure, but lacking the resources to address their emotional or psychological needs. He continued, if someone is struggling after coming off the table, they could ask, "Do you need 10 minutes to talk with someone?" I'm not saying everyone would use it, but I believe a lot of players are suffering in silence. These words speak to a much-needed awareness of the mental challenges snooker players face. Challenges that can sometimes be invisible to fans and even other professionals. O'Sullivan has long been a figure who has not shied away from speaking his mind, and his remarks have sparked both appreciation and contemplation in the snooker world. In response to O'Sullivan's call for greater mental health support, Jason Ferguson, chairman of the World Professional Billiards and Snooker Association, issued a statement addressing the issue. Ferguson commended O'Sullivan for bringing the topic of mental health to the forefront of the conversation, but also clarified that the WPBSA already offers a variety of support systems for players dealing with such challenges. I thought both Ronnie O'Sullivan and Mark Selby spoke incredibly well, Ferguson said. He acknowledged that snooker is a solitary sport, one that often isolates players due to the individual nature of the game. Players are required to travel extensively, spending large amounts of time away from home, which can understandably affect their mental health. It's not just about performance on the table, it's also about what's happening off the table, Ferguson continued. These players spend a significant amount of time away from home, which can take a toll. There are many challenges players face, and it's something we take very seriously. Ferguson outlined the various systems the WPBSA has in place to support players, including confidential hotlines and player services that are available to provide professional guidance when needed. Moreover, the WPBSA has established the Athletes Commission, which is designed to represent the players' concerns and offer them direct support. The commission, called WPBSA Players, is chaired by Shaun Murphy, a fellow professional player, which ensures that it remains a player-driven body focused on the needs and well-being of the athletes. The commission is also funded to provide the necessary resources and services for players to access professional support when required.